All right, now joining us on the broadcast from New Delhi, we have Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, who's a former Indian diplomat and distinguished fellow of the WIF and has served in Indian missions in Ivory Coast, Bangladesh, Mongolia, the United States, Russia, Sweden and Nigeria. Ambassador Trigunayat, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, the Indian Prime Minister is in China for the first time in 7 years. He'll also have a bilateral with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Of course, the Indian Prime Minister is there for the SCO Summit that is taking place on Monday. The question that I want to ask you is the fact that the Indian Prime Minister is there with some of the key meetings that are going to take place. One of the key issues that will be looked at is the India-China equation. You know, the rough weather that it hit the India-China equation in the aftermath of the Galwan standoff. Are we to now say that the rough weather between India and China is behind us?
Well, it will all depend exactly how eventually it all plays out. For the moment, it appears that both sides are keen on normalizing ties by addressing concerns, especially India's major concerns are there. And with the visits that have taken place, the discussions that have taken place from Kazan onwards, clearly indicate that Chinese at this moment are interested in addressing India's issues, and India has always said that the relationship has to be driven by mutual respect, mutual interest, and mutual sensitivities. So there are several issues, historic issues, between the two countries, but we have managed this relationship very well until Galwan happened since 1962. And if somehow some kind of confidence-building measures for which a greater onus lies on China, this can move forward. And now in the kind of situation that the global turbulence that which we are facing today, we'll have to see that how the two countries find a better modus vivendi in a more friendlier manner. And the presence of Prime Minister Modi in Tianjin for the SCO summit, the bilateral is a very critical part of this summit. And in fact, everybody is looking up to that. And I believe that that will address and find the way forward, because both sides have been saying that the understanding that has been reached between the two leaders in Kazan is the one that has carried forward this momentum.
Indeed. And also you mentioned about the global turbulence brought about by the tariff wars that Donald Trump has unleashed. How do you think India should, India is a part of the SCO summit. How do you see India, approaching the SCO per se? Can we now look at expanding more in these SCO nations so that some of the challenges that are being presented because of these tariff wars unleashed by Donald Trump can be made good by the markets of the SCO nations?
Well, I think that what I gather is already China is a very major partner of India, and Russia is also our special and strategic partner. Central Asian countries, we have the Connect Central Asia policy. Iran also remains our strategic partner, even though there are issues between them and other Middle Eastern countries, including Israel. But our problem has been the state sponsorship of terrorism from Pakistan that has been, charted against India all these years, almost 4 decades. And we recently had the Pahalgam and Op Sindoor, which still is fresh in our minds. So we have to see that if the SCO's primary objective was to ensure security and to fight terrorism and radicalization and extremism, then how it is going to address those issues and how that is going to figure out, that's very important. Secondly, they are going to, apart from the leaders' declaration when commenting on different dimensions of the global situation, they will also be issuing apparently some kind of a development strategy going forward, in which I'm quite sure for about a decade, in which I'm quite sure all these issues, how to fight these kind of unilateral tariffs and the multipolarity and the multilateralism, how to strengthen that, would figure very prominently. So, in fact, to a great extent, we have very similar objectives, but the approach to achieving these objectives has very great nuances and differences, which would need to be patched up, actually, if we have to move forward. Yes.
Indeed. Thank you very much, indeed, Ambassador, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you. Thank you.